All right, guys, it's the doc, and we have another question for the hashtag AskDrMudgil series of questions. And I love this question because it's kind of a little bit outside of the normal stuff that we usually answer. So this is more of a business-related question. And the question is, how does defining core values help you in the hiring and firing process for your business? I think that's a great question because there's really like two parts to that. So for the first part is the importance of defining core values. So, those of you who know me well, have read my book, who follow my content, know that, I have 4 core values: care and compassion, integrity, accountability, and attention to detail. And those 4 core values really define my personal and my professional life. The reason why it's important to define core values is because 1, it helps you align your actions with your goals. And 2 is it helps you troubleshoot issues that happen. So for instance, if something goes wrong, you can kind of troubleshoot and say, that was an attention to detail issue. If I was more attentive to detail, then this problem wouldn't have occurred, or you know what I'm saying. So it's a very important exercise. It's something I actually just did a few years ago, well into my professional life, but it's something that I think has been really helpful for me, both in business development and personal development. Now to the second part of the question is, how does that guide you in hiring and firing employees? Well, I think the first thing is, in hiring, you want to make sure the folks that you hire are aligned with the core values of you. So, who I am personally very much lends itself to how I define myself as a doctor, as a business owner. And, my core values are the fingerprint that I have on my operations, on my office, on the way my patients are being treated, et cetera, the way our vendors are being treated, all that sort of stuff. So I want to make sure whoever I hire is aligned with those core values. And in fact, the day I hire somebody, I send them an email which defines the core values, tells them what the doc is all about, what the doc's practice is all about. That way they know exactly what they're getting into. So that's for hiring. Now for firing, it's the flip of that. If someone is not really fulfilling the expectations of the core values that I have for my business, then they're not going to be a good mix for the office. And then ultimately something is just going to go wrong. Now, that's not to say that everyone is a superstar in all aspects of those core values. As long as I see that there's an earnest effort being placed into being attentive to detail, operating with integrity, being accountable if a mistake happens, and obviously being compassionate towards my patients, folks can develop into being better at those things. But if someone just doesn't exhibit any care for those core values, or is not really working to become better at fulfilling those core values, then it's just not going to work in my office. And that's someone, from quite frankly, that I really don't want either in my personal life or my professional life. So the takeaway message here is the importance of defining core values, because once you have them defined, and you got to take some time to really think about that. Think of like 4 or 5 things that define who you are, that define what you're about, that define what matters to you. And everything else kind of falls into place. It's a pretty crazy. It sounds like a very simple thing to do, and it is a simple thing to do, but it's a thing that almost none of us do. And just from personal experience, I can tell you that doing that, defining my core values, has made me better at achieving whatever goals I set out for myself. So I hope that answers your question. Let's get it.